The Empire of Nicaea was a powerful and instrumental force. They led their army to besiege Constantinople to restore the Byzantine Empire. And the Byzantine Empire was going to win this battle because the Latin Empire didn't have much of a garrison. As the emperor declared his rule across his Byzantine lands, he decreed that fellow Byzantines would come and restore the Roman Empire. It was not going to be an easy task. Troops were mobilized. Men were raised from their farms, from their towns and their cities. And technologies were researched so that the Byzantines would have the edge. And new governors were appointed to the regions that were most needed during this time. The Byzantines could no longer have an army that their ancestors once had. They could not raise hundreds and thousands of men, but they could raise loyal, skilled, and dedicated men that would be able to, restore the empire. And so edicts were decreed. And such edicts were decreed so that public order and bonuses and festivals were held. Drilling was made compulsory across all the cities of the Byzantine Empire. Byzantine siege on Constantinople continued. The Latin Empire's garrison was starving, and they wanted to get out of the city as much as possible. But the Byzantines still continued to besiege rather than directly assault the city. Constantinople began to starve.
The people will turn to the legions, and they will set their swords to your people.
The Kingdom of Jerusalem and Cyprus had declared war on the Empire of Nicaea. But of course they were foolish, misguided and stupid. Foolish, misguided and stupid was the best way that you could probably describe them. Theodorus tried to gain power and support so that his family would not be thrown out. And now, as you can see, the Byzantines are literally besieging Constantinople. The Latin Empire's garrison is pretty much, they don't want to be here. They don't want to be here. And with Emperor Theodorus and his army coming in, it looks like we will be able to go and besiege Constantinople. Once we besiege Constantinople and assault it and directly take it, then this city is ours, more or less. And the Latin Empire have already sent their army across. And look, the Kingdom of Jerusalem and Cyprus are now sending their army as well. But I don't trust Total War AI, and I would never trust it. Yes,
You have recruited so many.
while the upkeep was great, of course, Emperor Theodorus knew that the only way out of this financial bankruptcy was to conquer cities, destroy them. And pretty much, the more cities secured, the more treasury, the more gold, the more the Byzantines will be able to go and have the wealth their ancestors once had, that Emperor Constantine himself had once had. And now, war with Constantinople would begin. The direct assault would happen.
Enemy units have rallied and returned to the battle! Marching order! Legio! Hold! At the double! For the glory of God! At speed! What are your orders? Walls are under attack! Our men have given up and are running for their lives!
man can wait!
Constantinople finished, the Byzantines had taken the great city once again. Of course, they didn't sack it, they didn't loot it, they didn't occupy it, they just occupied it. Because they didn't want any more, revolts. And the people of Byzantium, well, Constantinopolis, they realized that you can't go against a mob. You cannot go against a mob. It is as simple as that. And the Byzantines didn't even have enough money in their coffers. Therefore, they couldn't spend enough. And then they sent, while Theodorus besieged the city of Cyzicus,
Let them cower like kennelled dogs.
the decision was taken to reform the Byzantine Empire. And the reformation of the empire goal. The Empire of Nicaea is no more, as the rightful Romans now rule in Constantinople once more. The true Roman Empire has been restored, although pretenders in the West would refuse to call it such. Many within the empire's borders hope that it may soon return to its former pre-Franco-Cratia glory. Despite its precarious position, Byzantium is poised to become a great power once more if the Turks in Anatolia and its rivals in the West can be defeated. And that is up to Emperor Theodorus to lead his army and to become the greatest emperor again in the world, to restore Roman rule, to restore Roman glory. Accept the task ahead of him. It will not be achieved in his lifetime. It is impossible to achieve. But what he can do is restore Byzantine pride, to show the Western European powers and to the Muslim sultanates of the East that the Byzantines are once more these descendants of their great ancestors. And so you can see, pretty much, the Empire of Epirus will soon declare war on us, as they are declaring war. They are nothing more than pretenders. They are weak. They should renounce. And the Latin Empire has given us peace, but I'll accept it for now, because I need it. I need it in that sense. As long as the Byzantine Empire is not engaged in so many wars, it helps us, more or less. And well, the kingdom of Jerusalem will send their armies, but the armies aren't that great, to be honest. Byzantine steel can pretty much destroy them at this point.
Ready for orders.
Ironically, the Latin
There is
Empire
profit
offered
for
us
all in letting our
a trade
merchants
agreement.
sell in your lands. What say you to such an arrangement?
And of course I accepted it because it was very good. Yes. The Fifth Crusade, of the Fourth Council of the Lateran. Pope Innocent III proclaimed a new crusade to free the Holy Land from the Saracens at the Fourth Council of the Lateran, held this year. Various Catholic rulers will soon be asked to join the crusade, though its intended target is not precisely known. In rapid succession, Emperor Theodorus embarked on diplomatic measures.
I
The first
greet you as
was to
befits your reputation.
trade with Sicilia, but the Sicilians were very hostile. They weren't great people.
Welcome,
The
worthy
Kingdom of
guest.
Sicily, however, was more reluctant at the same time. They rejected many of the offers that Theodorus offered them. And the Papal States, they weren't great. The kingdoms,
Welcome,
the Tsardom
my
of Bulgaria was more helpful to the Byzantines than anyone else. And once again, the years passed. Emperor Theodorus would spend his years, would spend this year mostly, trying to train his diplomats, trying to make sure that they would gain favor with all the powers of
We
Europe.
would be
And then the
suitably
Bulgarians
grateful if you could address an
offered
attack on
to
these people.
declare war on
It is a small matter.
the Latin Empire, but we had already made peace with them, so we couldn't do that during this time.
I will be
But
honest.
the
I
Sicilians
seek
wanted
coin
money for a
as
non-aggression
token of
pact.
your good
That
and
was, of course,
continued
something I had to
friendship.
give. But of course,
Your heart
they needed
and
to be
love
punished
for your people
in a
guide
way.
you well today.
that would soon, try and humiliate them. But that's in diplomacy. In diplomacy, you can't satisfy everybody. You can't. That is the main problem.
The Holy Bible may preach peace, but when it is Christendom itself that is threatened, then it is every Christian's duty to defend all that is holy. His Holiness the Pope has called a crusade to reclaim the Holy Lands from the infidel, who would deny Christian pilgrims their right to visit the holy places. It is time for the armies of Christendom to put aside their differences and unite under one banner, the sign of the cross, and give back God's children what is rightfully theirs, or die trying.
That was an amazing cinematic. And yes, we got a mission to pretty much do this kind of stuff. And then, yeah, you can ignore that. But anyway, this has been the Byzantine Empire episode. Don't forget to leave a like, share, comment, and subscribe.